put him on the spot, and we were there for what followed.
Bernard, you've nothing to say to these gentlemen? They've handed you a whole lot of money and they've got nothing in return?
Where's our money, Bernard? Yeah, we want our dough.
Try as he may, Bernard O'Brien can't hide from our cameras. Bernard, we've been told that up to 25 people have lost up to $3 million.
Where's our money, Bernard? How many more times are you going to repeat the pattern, Bernard?
I don't know how he can live with himself.
The bottom line, Chris, is he needs to be stopped.
Bernard O'Brien founded Discovery Beach, a company promising to find investors for new business ideas.
There's plenty of money out there, and we have investors lining up looking for deals.
In return, Bernard charged huge upfront fees.
He asked for $25,000 upfront fee.
I paid him in 2 instalments. It was $13,750 each instalment.
I paid the $25,000 in 2 instalments.
But it's morally wrong. It takes money from people who cannot afford it and gives them a promise of something better, and nothing ever eventuates.
Peter Jupe says Mr O'Brien claimed to have a pool of cashed-up investors, just as he said in his ad.
As the world is simply awash with funds at the present time.
Peter was convinced to invest $100,000 from his super fund, because he was told he'd get interest on the money and a full refund when he wanted.
To date, I have not got a cent in interest, and I have not got 1 penny back from Bernard O'Brien.
And you asked for your money back?
Oh, numerous times.
Oh, I don't know if he's a bad businessman. He seems to be able to organise his own business, but he certainly can't organise anybody else's.
Pensioner Errol Johns paid Bernard to help him start up a business. 4 years later, there is no business, and Errol wants his money back. So essentially, he gave you a business plan of sorts.
It wasn't a business plan. It was a load of rubbish. It was just some ideas that were basically jotted down on an A4 sheet.
How can you explain what's happened? How can so many people lose so much money?
Here, Bernard, this is a contract.
Bernard, how can so many people lose so much money? We caught up with Bernard at a hotel. He was having a business meeting with one of our producers, Andrew. Next door, watching things unfold on hidden camera, were Errol, Peter and Glenn Sinclair, who says all 3 are victims of the same scenario.
Bernard's been paid a fee, there's no tangible results, and there's no money left to take the business any further, and there's no further contact with Bernard. End of story.
Bernard, Chris Allen from A Current Affair. Wondering if we can ask you some questions about Discovery Beach. If he wasn't happy to see us, he was even less happy to see some of his former customers.
Who are the people?
Well, we've got a few people here, I'm sure, who'd like to ask you some questions. You remember Errol? Remember Peter? Remember Glenn? All of these gentlemen say they've lost a lot of money as a result of their involvement with you. How much have you lost, Errol?
25,000.
And Peter, what did
200.
And Glenn, what did this cost you?
Oh, probably 150.
If you believe you've been hard done by...
Yes, I do.
Then why don't you sue me?
He got $27,500 of my money, and no, there was no hope of me getting it back.
Steve Pearcey says he's still waiting for the funding Mr O'Brien promised to start his business 2 years ago.
He urges you along for a little while and does nothing, and then in the end, what he tries to do, I think he just wears you down until you've got no money left. Then you can't fight him.
People can't afford to take him to court. If they take him to court, they know that they're not going to get their money back. So people just don't bother.
Right. There's your strategic review. Now read it.
I've read it.
Read what it says. Don't you understand what you write?
Have you produced the correspondence that we had about the project?
Well, let's forget the correspondence. This is what he paid for.
Yes.
This is the deal.
I did.
This is the contract.
And what it says is that follow the recommendations. You did not follow the recommendations.
What didn't I do?
I followed him slavishly, absolutely slavishly. Everything that he said, I did.
Wendy Bradley says the funds Mr O'Brien guaranteed to start her business never came.
He also underwrote my company debts up to nearly $100,000, And when he was asked to deliver that, he did not deliver. Thus, that company had to be put into administration.
And in financial terms, what does this cost you?
Oh, well over $250,000, yeah. You know, it's probably up around the 300,000, I'd say now.
We have a list here of more than a dozen people all claiming they've lost thousands as a result of their involvement with Mr. O'Brien. And in spite of repeated requests, he couldn't give us the name of one person he has helped. In a phone conversation, he blamed the global financial crisis. But all the people we've spoken to were trying to start up businesses long before that hit.
Don't try and answer it, you can't.
Glyn Sinclair also wants to know what happened to $20,000 he lent Bernard 3 years ago.
2 weeks you were going to have it.
Yes.
As bridging finance.
Yes.
Never seen it since.
And
that's a long time ago.
You never came back to me on it?
Oh, what a load of rubbish. Where's your ethics? Where's your morals? It was very simple. It was a loan. It was for 2 weeks. No rocket science about that.
But there are people that have lost marriages. They've lost their children. You know, it's not just a company they've lost. It's their whole structure of their lifestyle. I mean, that's terrible.
Where's our money, Bernard? Just give us our money and you go and do what you want to do.
There's no need to push the camera, Bernard. These are simple questions. They just like to know where their money is.
This is getting ridiculous.
Several of Mr.